All right, guys, what's going on? Decided to start this off a little bit earlier. Oh man, is anybody in here that was here yesterday? That's what I want to know. Because yesterday was something else. All right, let me get this let me get this going. All right, guys. So I kind of wanted to just talk about my experience yesterday, because in case you didn't know, yesterday, in celebration of me um, essentially being announced to speak at Hacking with Swift Live, which is Paul Hudson's Swift related event, um, that's going to be held in, and I can't say it, Bath, England. Um, and that's going to be the first time I ever actually leave the country, the United States, which is pretty cool. So, in celebration of that, I decided that I was going to sit down, and in one sitting, I'm going to release an app, right? So, yeah, I did just that. I sat down. I decided to choose a very basic app. What's going on, Glenn? I decided to choose a basic app, which was just a volume control. Now, the reason why I chose this basic app, just a volume controller, which I think I could actually pull it up. I'll pull it up later. But anyways, the reason why I chose this specific app is because I needed something that was going to be easy enough to do in one sitting, but was going to be, something that would actually be worth enough to actually go into the App Store. So the reason why I chose this specific app was because whenever I'm like on social media, like Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, what would happen is if I see a video that I want to watch, my volume would be like a little bit too high, right? And what would happen is, like, if my kids are sleeping, they might wake up because they sleep in the same room as us. They're still really little. And it was something that I know that I could have used, and I decided to release it. So let's go over and let me show you the actual app. It actually made it into the App Store. And watch this. I can't believe that it made it into the App Store. It almost took longer for them to review the app, this one page app, than it did for them to actually release it. So let's see, App Store Connect. I think I could get to it here. Right. So I was just really impressed that it actually made it onto the App Store. And I was like, man, that's so easy. Like, literally one day of work and it got released. Like, I couldn't even believe it. So let me see. I want to see this thing live. Usually they have like a view on the App Store button somewhere. Um, Hold on. I know how to do it since it's on my phone. Um, Need to let AirDrop work. But anyways, I did all this yesterday. Let's see if that works. Oh, it's not gonna work. Yeah, I don't know how to get to the actual app information, or like the actual show it on the App Store. area. Oh, view on App Store. There it is. Here we go. Look at Shh. It's called Shh with 5 H's volume controller. And all it is just a volume control. Like I just thought, they probably won't let it on there. And my apps have been super basic so far. Like this is my second app that I ever released. Just large text. And then Braindump was the very first app that I ever released. Um and that is just, yeah. Um oh, hold on. Let me get my webcam going. There we go. So as you can see, I've only released like very simple apps to the App Store, and that's because like I never really had a interest in really releasing apps. Like I like the ability to build stuff, but I don't usually like seeing it all the way through to the end to make sure it's all pretty and structured and all that other stuff. So what I ended up doing was I was like, okay, well I can teach the stuff because all I really care about in regards to app development, my favorite part of app development is just learning, right? And all I really want to do is just like learn. Um, I just want to learn all the cool stuff in Swift that we can do. So, thanks, Glenn. uh, that's the whole entire point of why I wanted to do this or why I wanted to do YouTube is because essentially it's just learning. So when I'm doing YouTube, you guys are asking me to cover all these different topics that I usually don't know, and that's fine. Like that's perfectly fine. I just enjoy learning for the most part. So for me to cover a topic that I don't know and just go out and learn something works for me. It's no problem for me. So now what I'm thinking is like, well, I kind of want to get back into development. Like I'm thinking like, oh, well maybe I could do indie development as like a thing. And then I could just share my experiences with you guys and see how you or hold on. It's all messed up. Hold on, guys. Nope. The mouse is being kind of weird right now. All right, there we go. So, back to what I was saying. Yeah. So I'm thinking like, okay, well, what if I just decided to kind of start doing indie development like full time? Like if I wanted to instead of just doing random topics on YouTube that I kind of went over, like what the journey would be like as a indie developer. And the more that I think about it, the more it kind of makes sense. If you didn't know, by the end of the like, if you didn't know, I'm doing a challenge called 100 Days of Hustle, and all 100 Days of Hustle really is just dedicating yourself to to accomplish some really crazy goals that should probably be impossible, but if you even did like half the amount of work that you set out to do, then you're going to be in a much better spot after you're done, right? And it's going to help you come to a realization, on like, I mean, it gives you insight on who you are, I think, after 100 days of just hard work and how far you've come. And then it lets you kind of clearly see like what you do and don't like. So what I'm thinking is, I have 3 apps that I'm supposed to release by the end of this 100 Days of Hustle, right? I have 3 apps. I have 3 courses that I'm supposed to release, 100 YouTube videos. And so far, I'm keeping up on the YouTube videos. So far, I'm keeping up on. I'm also supposed to do 100 Instagram posts. I'm keeping up on the Instagram posts, and I'm ahead of the curve when it comes to the courses, and I'm ahead of the curve when it comes to the apps now. Because now that I got this random little one that's out there, it technically counts. Like it wasn't what I was planning on doing. What's going on? It wasn't what I was planning on doing, but this is kind of what it's turning into, you know? And I couldn't have predicted the fact that I was going to come out with such a basic app. Like, the app is super basic, guys. Like, I can't even believe it. Like, look at this. This is the extent of the app. All you do is adjust the volume. That's all it is. And it made it onto the App Store. Good to hear that you're in on it, Ermal. I hope I said your name right. You know, I always apologize for pronouncing names wrong. But yeah, that's kind of like creeping into my mind, is like, it was so easy to get this app out there, right? And as you can see, I'm selling it for $1.99. What's going on, Danny? I'm selling it for $1.99, which, you know, if people want to download it, then go ahead and download it. But if not, then it's not a big deal. Like, it's a basic app. It does what it's supposed to do, and it's out there. It's a possibility. If 1,000 people want to download it, that's awesome, because then that's like $2,000 of revenue. You know, after and then you have like Apple's cut, so it's like $1,000 of revenue. And hey, who would have known, right? So what I'm thinking is, my YouTube channel's in a like a severe state of flux right now, because I'm going through this 100 days of hustle, and there's all kinds of ideas that I've already had planned for YouTube, and I'm just trying to figure out which ones I want to execute on. And now it's looking like this is one of the ones that I want to execute on. I want to start building apps, and I'm thinking, like, what if I just start live streaming the process of me building apps? Like, I know that some people did really like when I was doing the entire app building process, but the problem with that was that I was going through the entire design phase, and that's actually not the real way that I personally would do an indie app. It's the right way to do an app when you're working at like a company, when it's like not your own product. But when you're working on your own product, I mean, it's really up to you. But my preferred way is to get the like literally the minimum viable product, like essentially literally just the functionality out, and then if I get the functionality out, then I could go back and make it pretty, right? So if I kind of followed that, if I've kind of followed that philosophy of building out the functionality and then going back and making it look pretty and then polishing it, like all the functionality, the features, everything that it can be, and then putting it up on the App Store, then not only do you guys get an awesome journey out of it, well, personally, I think it's awesome. Not only do you guys get like a journey out of it, but you also get potentially an app that can be helpful, and you know, it might help you. Like you guys could give me suggest, like maybe it'll be like, hey, why don't you add this feature, or hey, it would be better if you did this, you know, and you guys could kind of help me. Now that's just a thought, but it's something that I'm highly considering. Now, the other thing that I want you guys to know is that I'm currently working with Flutter, or I'm using Flutter and Dart to work on a client's project, and I'm really getting a good, strong grasp on some of these things. So what I'm thinking is that, and this is what I was thinking before I came to this idea that I'm thinking about covering actual mobile development and you know, stuff, and putting it as like a journey on YouTube, right? So what I was thinking is, some of these apps I really want to be cross-platform, because they need to be cross-platform, because they're going to affect a lot of people, or I have plans on selling them to, you know, people that are going to need, you know, both Android and iOS apps. Something like Shush, the app that I made here, doesn't need to be on Android. I mean, it probably could. I could probably figure out how to do it in Flutter, but not in 8 hours. I wouldn't have been able to do it in 8 hours. The only reason why I was able to accomplish what I did right here is just simply because I know iOS like really well. So, and Swift. So, yeah, like I just kind of wanted to get some feedback on what you guys thought about that, cuz I did a poll not too long ago. Well, I did a poll like 6 months ago or something like that, right? And I asked, what do you guys want to learn? Right? What should the YouTube channel be? Should it just be Swift? Should it just be Swift and iOS? Should it be, iOS, tvOS, macOS, and watchOS? Should it be all the OSs from Apple, like iOS, tvOS, macOS, watchOS, and Flutter? Or should it just be iOS and Flutter? And I asked you guys that, and the results came in, and they were like, we just want iOS, right? And I'm thinking, like, well, that's cool. I'll respect their wishes, but my goal is to essentially become a cross-platform developer, and I want to know a native language on each of the platforms. I want to know, well, I already know Swift, right? I want to know cross-platform development really well. So Flutter, may eventually learn React for everybody that's going to be like, oh, what about React? May eventually learn React. And then I'm thinking probably Kotlin. It depends on what I feel like, but Ray Wenderlich, he sent me out a bunch of books, and they are in Kotlin development, so it's probably going to be Kotlin. And I'm just wondering, would you guys be interested to see if I was building an app if it wasn't Swift, right? So it would still be the app building process, but you guys, depending on who you are, you might not be able to recognize anything what I'm doing, but I would still be making an app. I would still be making like an iOS app, or maybe it'd just be an Android app. I don't know. I don't see myself ever wanting to just do strictly Android development. Only reason why I want to learn a native language is just because um, you have to know a native language when you're working with Flutter, because it's still pretty it's still pretty new. You gotta know. But and I know a little bit of Flutter. I mean, a little bit of Kotlin, anyways. But that's besides the point. Anyways, yeah, this is just kind of like a rambling type video or live stream that I wanted to do for you guys. One reason I wanted to do this type of style of video is because I can't believe that this app is in the App Store right now. It's kind of stupid that it's actually in the App Store. Like, this is one of those apps that are kind of junk apps, but it does actually help. It does, like, it's super simple, but it gets a job done that I personally could use. So that's why I decided on this app. The apps that I build in the future, those might take multiple live streams to cover. And and I think that that would be all right with you guys. Nobody wants to watch an 8-hour video of me doing one of these again. But I do kind of want to do this again. Like, oddly enough, I kind of want to see how many apps I could put out into the App Store in one sitting. Now, these would have to be extremely simple apps, and I think I could actually make some apps using like Firebase. I could make an app using Firebase faster than I made this app, because I'm more familiar with Firebase and presenting data and creating data than I am with dragging and dropping, which took a whole lot of time to make this app. Um, but yeah, it's just something that I'm bouncing around. Um, I think I want to do more live streams. It's kind of cool to talk to you guys. It's really fun to talk to you guys in the chat. It's always fun. Yesterday I was speaking with a swiftly tilting planet, Caleb. I was talking to Caleb, and it was cool because he's also a content creator, and I got to talk to him. There was another guy in here, Jason, and then there was another guy in here, Danny. Danny. I think it was Danny. And it was just cool to kind of talk to you guys while I was working through something. And that's kind of what I wanted. Like, I don't know if you guys heard the podcast with me and Sean Allen on it, where I was kind of talking about like why I I started YouTube, or maybe you heard my own podcast where I talked about it. But the entire reason why I'm doing YouTube, like the core reason behind it, is to kind of become like popular in a way, in a sense to where like I have people that want to talk to me because I want to talk to people. Like I want to have conversations with people that care about the same things that I care about, as much as I care about them, because I've never had that in the majority of my life. So that's why I'm thinking about moving more towards live streams. I want live streams. I do like the videos that I've been putting out lately. If you've been noticing, I'm doing a lot of like the videos are very different than what I've done in the past, where it's just like a talking head. I'm kind of giving you guys tips. I really enjoy doing those, but I don't want that to be everything that this channel is about. And then I'm still kind of weird about tutorials. I don't know where I stand on tutorials, because what I want to do is I really want to move all the tutorials and code and stuff like that to my membership site, and I really try to make it like affordable for everybody. Well, don't look at that, but let me see. Logo.membership. Trying to move everybody to the membership site. So this is my membership, and I felt like this was a way that was going to essentially help provide for me and my family, because if I could replace all my income through a membership, and then just I keep creating courses for you guys, then I could cover like all the topics that you really want to know about, because I'm tired of going over basic stuff. Like I don't care for basic stuff. I'm getting so frustrated going over basic stuff like Swift, like how to, I don't know, how to make a string in Swift, how to make a variable in Swift. Like nobody cares about that anymore. I mean, there's a million other videos that you can go watch, or tutorials you can go read. And I'm thinking about doing like I want to get to the point to where I only have to do intermediate and advanced tutorials, and I want you guys to keep feeling like, oh, we'll cover this thing in AWS, because I don't know how to do it. So when you guys request stuff like that, I have to go out and learn it, and that's what I love about it. It's just like not AWS, honestly. Like if you want AWS, I'll learn it, because that's what I did for that long video, if you saw the AWS video. But most of the time I don't know these technologies, and I go out there and I learn them for you, and then try to regurgitate back the stuff that makes sense. And that's why like all my stuff is so long, is because I don't like the way that YouTube kind of has tutorials formatted, is because YouTube wants your videos to be 10 minutes long, right? In order for you to perform like really well, for the most part, from what I've heard and what I've researched. And my videos are extremely longer than that. I've been trying to cut them way down, and I've been successful in cutting them down. But it gets to the point to where when I have a half an hour video, I feel like it's not gonna perform well. And the reason why I have half an hour videos, and I think I even mentioned this on Twitter the other day, I did a video on how to request a review inside your app, right? And that one, actually, I think that one performed pretty well. But that one was like 19 minutes long. It was 19 minutes long, and in order for you to request a review from within inside of your app, it's literally one line of code. One line of code. That video was 19 minutes long. And the reason my videos are super long is because I try to come from the sense that, for two main reasons. One, I don't want to assume anybody's knowledge, because we're all kind of coming from different paths. Like some of you guys that are watching right now might have, experience with like web development, or, maybe Objective-C development, or you've just been doing this for years or whatever. And some people are coming to the videos and they don't know anything. And what I like to do is I like to explain everything within the scope of the video that makes sense to explain, so that everybody can understand it. So my explanations are kind of geared towards beginners, but the reason I also explain it that way is because I don't want you to just um my videos aren't essentially for you to just find out how to do something really quick. It's more geared towards I want you to learn how to do something and I want you to retain that knowledge, because I know that most of you guys don't do the right thing when it comes to tutorials where it's like you're actually following along on the keyboard. You're probably like on the go and you're probably just watching it on your phone, right? So if I can explain a tutorial if I can explain a topic in a way to where you understand why it is that why I'm doing the things that I'm doing, like why we're doing this, then I'm hoping that you'll be able to retain that information. You'll be like, okay, I remember that Kyle said that we wanted to do this and it was important to do that. I may not remember the exact code that he implemented, but I could go back and watch his video, but at least you'll understand the concept, because I feel like the concepts are super important. And then the code, because the code is could potentially change in the future, is not as important as understanding the concept. So that's why my videos are super long, is I try to explain it in a way that you'll remember the concept and why I'm doing it a specific way. Also, the videos that I do, you'll notice that lately I've been putting everything in like its own little class and like a service, right? And then I'll use it in the view controller. Whereas I think most tutorials and even my tutorials in the past would just do all the code in a view controller. I'm trying to show everybody how to do stuff like I feel like it's better practice. It's probably not perfect practice because I do use singletons. And honestly, I still use singletons in production, but I use them through dependency injection, which is like the right way to use them. But anyways, I try to show people how to do it the right way so that if you are a beginner or maybe you're even intermediate, but you didn't think to do it this way, then hey, you're going to see it done in a different way. And hopefully it makes sense that, oh, he's doing this. He's making a whole nother class to keep all his kind of code, together. So with my approach to teaching, it doesn't really mesh with how YouTube wants the content. So that's why I'm thinking of moving the majority of my tutorials and content to my own website. And as you can see, it's a membership, or you could buy the courses individually, but or you can enroll in the membership. And I try to keep it affordable for everybody, $8 a month or $80 a year. And honestly, I feel like that's a pretty good price. That's what Netflix started. So I was like, well, Netflix, it's less than $10 depending on where you're buying it from, because I think they charge more in Europe, like digital transactions or whatever. It's like $10 per month. But I feel like it's more affordable than anything out there. And I'm going to try to make it more valuable than anything out there. My goal essentially is to get to a state of kind of like Ray Wenderlich. I mean, obviously that would be nearly impossible to do it by myself, but I would like to try to get to that place to where I'm providing topics on all, or providing content on all the different topics, videos, courses on all the different topics, but they're all done through me, because I know that in the past, I'm not going to say which company, but one of the companies stopped having the main instructor teach, and I personally didn't like that because I really like the instructors. So if you've been following this video and if you're still in here, you know that my personality will definitely not resonate with a lot of people, but I think for some people it'll actually resonate a lot more with. It's just that, like, I'm not super serious, I'm not professional or whatever. It's like I don't know who wants a professional instructor. Honestly, it's like, I mean, you guys go to work in jeans and t-shirts, guys. Come on. Like, I don't understand who wants me to be professional, but I get complaints a lot saying how I'm unprofessional and I do some ridiculous stuff. But hey, I try to have fun, because if I'm not having fun, y'all ain't getting nothing. So Anyways, that's a whole long rant of kind of my plans. I know that a couple of people have come in and mentioned some stuff in the chat, so I'm about to switch over to the chat. Um, hold on. Hold on. Okay, let me go back. Okay, and then, all right, let's see. Um, oh, Caleb's in here. Cool. I was just talking about you too. If Finding Nemo were accurate, Marlin would have swapped genders and made it with his. Okay, that's interesting. It's funny how fast your app got on the App Store. Kudos to you, mate. Yeah, right. Like, so that was the crazy thing. Like, I think that's probably the fastest turnaround that I would actually bet money that nobody has got an app on the App Store that fast. Like from start to finish, and then submitted an app. And the reason why I say that is because the people that would have done something like that um would have been really skilled in iOS development at the very early stages when Swift was coming out. It was still the money rush and all this other stuff, and it made sense to put apps like the one that I put out there. But the problem was that it took a couple of days to actually get your app approved. So yeah, like I'm pretty sure I probably broke some records. I bet you I was one of the fastest people to actually create an app and release it on the App Store too. Um, from experience, you may get something like that through time to don't chance it later. Oh, Danny, I think you were referring to something I said earlier, but I have a headache, so I can't remember what I just said. Glenn Adams said, I just purchased it. I think he's talking about Shush. Thanks, man. Thanks for the support. Yeah, like I figured, if I could make an extra $5 a month, then why not, right? Like, cause some people will be in the same situation as me and find it useful, and that'll work. So extra $5 a month. It only took 8 hours, right? Um, I am waiting on core data, custom section sort by date video. I kind of stuck in my app. I am able to store and fetch data. Um, custom sort section sort data video or by date. Um, okay. Well, I'll definitely consider doing that. But I do go over core data a lot in this one. There's a lot of good stuff in this course right here in the Become an iOS Dev in 12 weeks. I made it pretty packed of content. Let me see. I go over a lot of core data too. And it is... Let me see. Because I forgot what section it was. Core. All right, yeah. So we create a notes app doing core data, and some of the things that I go over are updating the objects, migration, relationships. So those are a couple of things, but I go over pretty much everything you need to know. Yeah, so adding and then updating. Good stuff in here. So week 5 is pretty much dedicated to core data. Good stuff. So check it out. You might find some value. You might learn something in there. Flutter has great accessibility integration too. Right now I haven't been able to get to that part yet because so in regards to what I'm doing in Flutter, I'm actually working. Oh, I wasn't even showing you guys my screen when I was talking about. Let me show you real quick. Hold on. Before I go on to what I'm doing in Flutter. Okay, so as I was saying, so if you go to the kiloloco.com/membership, you'll get to this page, right? And then if you go to the Become an iOS Dev in 12 weeks, in week 5, I go over some core data stuff. I don't go over that specific thing to sort dates, but yeah. All right. back to what I was saying about Flutter. So what I'm doing in Flutter is I'm actually working on a client's project. Now, I have it set up through milestones. So the first milestone was to complete all the UI. That I'm actually that milestone I think I'm planning on finishing tomorrow. After I get that milestone paid, then I'm gonna actually start working on functionality, which means that I'm gonna have like a Firebase backend, and then interacting with Firebase, and then doing all that stuff. So I'm gonna be learning a whole lot about Firebase. I mean about Flutter. But yeah, I haven't had the chance to actually like work with the accessibility part yet. Also, the goal with Flutter is to allow in the future iOS and Android binaries to be launchable on the Fuchsia project. Yeah, so that was the main thing that got me interested in Flutter, was the fear of not being able to be on a whole entire new operating system. So, for those of you that don't know, Google is working on a new operating system that's outside of Android. It's going to be their own new operating system, from my understanding. And in order for you to release apps for Fuchsia, my understanding is that you're going to need to use Flutter. Now, how much of this is true, I don't know. I only looked into it a very small amount, but I was like, if that could be the next big thing, then I want to jump on Flutter. And that's also another reason why I jumped on Flutter instead of React Native. React Native is also done in JavaScript, and I don't really like JavaScript. Just don't. Had a bad experience with it, but I will eventually learn JavaScript, so don't worry about that. All right, Caleb says, if you do cross-platform, wait, not learn. If you do cross-platform, why not learn Kotlin? Go native on both. So the real reason why let me fix this. The real reason why you don't do native on every single app, and the real reason why there's a market for something like Flutter, right, is because it doesn't always make sense to make two native apps, right? Because those are two code bases. It only really makes sense to make two native apps if you're going to do something like that's going to be kind of specialized, like using a specialized technology. And some of these cross-platform softwares like Flutter are doing a good job of bridging the gaps on like allowing you to use things like the camera and stuff like that, but they're not all the way there. They can't do everything, and that's kind of where native comes in. Now, the cool thing about Flutter is that it does compile down to native code, which is a benefit over React Native. So it does compile down to native code. In Swift, I believe it compiles down to Objective-C. Is it right? Is it Swift? I think it's Objective-C. And then yeah, I actually don't know what it compiles down. I think on Android it's Kotlin. I think it's Objective-C and Kotlin it compiles down to. I might be wrong, but it compiles down to native. That's all you really need to know. And essentially what that means is that you're getting the ability to write one code base and then release natively to both apps. Now, the problem with things like Flutter and React Native is that if Kotlin is already coming up with something called Kotlin Native, right, where you could write an application in Kotlin on Android and on iOS, and I haven't looked into Kotlin Native. I don't know exactly what it's doing. I don't know if it's I would assume that it's going to essentially compile down to native on iOS. But my theory is that Swift will eventually get native on Android. And I think that Swift will be one of the main languages of the future. Because the only thing that Swift can't do right now is run on you can't really write an efficient Android app easily right now. You can write an Android app in Swift, but you have to do all kinds of crazy stuff and it just doesn't make sense. And then you can't have Swift compiled through or interpreted through a browser. I think I might be confusing my words, but it can't essentially replace JavaScript. Now, what was this thing that I was learning about that you could write in Rust? Who knows the framework that you can write in Rust and then it creates your website for you? I forgot what it was called, but there are some things that they're trying to do to make it so that you can create websites with different languages. And I think that if Swift, I think Swift is going to be one of those languages that makes it to all the platforms. Because you have to remember that Apple made Swift and nothing's going into Apple. Apple puts stuff out. Apple doesn't let stuff come in, right? So you have to go with what Apple says. Apple puts out Swift, and that's what they're going to be using in the future. Who knows what they're going to do with Objective-C, but I highly doubt that they're ever going to let Kotlin be native. I highly doubt that they're ever going to let Dart be native. I think it's going to be Swift is the only way to go native. And that would be the smart decision for all companies. I really don't know what Google has. Like, I don't know where Google benefits in having everybody be on Flutter, but they should definitely let you do stuff in Swift. And if Android, like if you could write an Android app in Swift, it would be over. Like, there would be no question about it. Swift would be the language of the future. But since you can't do that yet, there's still, some doubt around it. Anyway, the main reason, so like going back to the question, why not learn Kotlin? Flutter is going to be a better choice for me because if I need to pick up contracting, because my plan is to essentially not have to. I'm in a situation to where I don't know if I'll have a job after August. Hence the 100 days of code. I need to make stuff happen within 100 days. I need to get this membership off the ground. I need to get more people in the membership. I need to get more apps on the App Store. I need to get more courses out. Just in case I don't have a job after August, because I don't want to go work for anybody else. I would rather stay home, make all kinds of cool content for you guys, put out all kinds of apps on the App Store. And then the awesome thing is after I put out all kinds of apps on the App Store, I have all this experience of what's best practices when you go to the App Store. And then I can tell you guys how to make successful apps so that you guys could be indie devs if that's what you want. But you guys could be indie devs too, and then hopefully y'all can stay at home and work your hours too. So that's why I'm doing this. And then if I need to pick up like a freelance contract, it's way easier to find somebody that's looking. It's going to be way easier for me to find a person that wants something done on Android than it is to find somebody that wants something done on iOS, because if you think about what the real market share is of the world, most of the world is running on Android, like for their phone, right? So it's easier to find clients when I can say, oh, you know what, I can do an Android and iOS app, and I'm going to charge you, a third more, but at least you'll have both platforms covered. So it's going to work out better. The reason why I want to learn native for Android is just to have that experience and be able to switch into the different projects. But I don't ever want to be an Android developer. I just want to be able to put out Android apps if necessary. But I don't think that's ever going to be like my primary. It will never be my primary. I love Apple too much. Love your videos, Kilo. Keep it up. You are doing a great job. Thanks, Kevin. The best tutorials are the full practical projects so that beginner/intermediate developers can get apps on the stores. That will always include some basic and more and move into intermediate code. Yes, thanks. All right. Lord Stained, I think. You should also stream your learning process when you're learning something new. Everyone learns differently, and it'd be cool to see your thought process and way you learn some stuff. So Lord, I don't know, Lord Stained, just so you know, I thought the same exact thing too. So what I actually did was I made a Twitch account a couple months back. Twitch TV. And I've streamed a couple of times. I don't do it often because I've been working a lot on client projects, but I'm here at Kilo underscore Loco. When I have downtime and I'm just learning something, this is where I do it. So here you can see the URL right here. Kilo, like it's twitch.tv/Kilo underscore Loco. Now, I started doing this maybe like 2 months ago. They don't save your stuff, so I can't really check. But I think I started doing this like 2 months ago. Let me see. There we go. I started doing Twitch TV like 2 months ago, and I hop on there very randomly. So if you guys want to follow me on Twitch, that's fine. I just try to. Oh, see, look at this was the last thing that I was learning right here: learning algorithms and data structures. So I was actually looking into the video that I still need to release. Yeah, one of them I released. The WTF is big O notation, right? Now there's a couple other videos that I have that I want to go over, or there's a couple other areas in that topic that I want to go over, but I haven't gotten there yet. But this is where I go when I'm just like I'm in my office and I'm able to work, and it's not going to be like an invasion of privacy for either for any of the companies that I work for. So yeah, if you guys follow me on Twitch, that's where I'm doing that. And the reason why I'm not doing on YouTube is because I feel like that's kind of wasted space on YouTube, honestly. Because this is like I'm not really interacting with you guys. I'm really just going through the process of learning, and you guys can you can definitely ask questions, but it's not going to be as engaged as this type of stream. So I kind of want to keep those types of streams separated. When I'm on YouTube, I'm here to like interact with you guys. When I'm on Twitch, it's more like if you guys want to pop in and work with me, then that's what it is. But I'm not really there to do a whole lot of interaction. You could obviously ask me questions, but that's not the primary focus. Let's see. What's going on, iCode? Keep it fun. That's right. Shh. Yeah, that's right. Caleb said, I made 2 apps each in one day with a day in review, but they are not that good. Hey, too late. I already read it. You can't take it back. Well, that's cool. Mine wasn't that good, so made 2 apps in one day. That's what I did. At least it's out there. At least it's on your portfolio, right? In case you do need to go out and get a job. That's the other thing is that I have 2 more apps that I need to release. And then in case I do need to go get a job, it's better to just have more apps on the portfolio. So why not? You can make a playlist called Swift App Development Daily Apps. Okay, yeah, so that's a great idea on a playlist. The only thing is that it wouldn't be daily. In either sense, it wouldn't be done in one day, and it wouldn't be on a daily basis. But yes, I do like that, and I may create a playlist where I go through entire apps and build all those out. So great idea. Thanks, Caleb. What's going on, Arvin? New to the community, loving your recent videos about your opinions on general dev stuff and not just programming. Thank you, man. I appreciate that because I've been really trying to change it up, and that's like I really want to give you guys value in different ways. Like if I can help you guys become programmers and hopefully successful programmers, and just make your life easier. That's what I like to do. I like to make your guys' life easier, and sometimes that's with tutorials, but I can help a lot more people if I'm telling you guys general information on stuff that I'm aware of, but you guys might not be aware of. If you would like to push some advanced topics out there, I would love to see design pattern stuff on real projects. Thanks, and keep it up, bro. All right. The first advanced topic that I'm going to be covering once again on my thing, I've been plugging the hell out of my website, but that's what it is, guys. kiloloco.com, go to the join, that's the membership. The next course, well, not the next course. So I have 2 courses that I'm going to do within the next 89 days. And I want them actually to be done before. Okay, the course that I plan on releasing on August 1st is going to be a programmatic course. So you guys I'm going to be going over how to create a social networking app all through doing it in code. Like all the UI is going to be programmatic, and I haven't selected which one of the apps I want to do. I'm thinking Twitter, but I'm not 100% sure. It might be Instagram, it might be Twitter. It's not going to be Facebook because I don't like Facebook. But yeah, head over to kiloloco.com/membership. And when you join, you're going to get access to these courses. But also when I drop that course on August 1st, you'll have access to that too. So that's probably going to be the one where you get to see how I would put together a course, and I'm explaining how and why I'm doing everything. And it's all going to be done programmatically. So there's going to be a lot of information that you guys are going to be learning in there. You're going to see how I would do it, like the architecture. You're going to see doing stuff in code, animation stuff, all kinds of stuff. That one I'm aiming to release it August 1st. I have one more course that's going to come out in between now and then, and I'm not going to announce that just yet because I'm still working on it. I'm still thinking it through, and I'm not 100% sure that it's going to go out there, so I don't want to get anybody's hopes up before if I say that I'm planning on putting that one out and it doesn't come out, but the programmatic course is coming out for sure. RN native also compiles to native. React native also compiles to native. I don't think it compiles to native. I don't think this is correct. I think React native compiles to some type of assembly, and that is compiled to the device or something like that. It's not Rocket. I was talking about something about. I think it's called like Web or World or something like that. It'd be real nice if Apple added a native API for drawer navigators. Nope, it definitely wouldn't, because that is not good practice. So the problem with drawers is that it actually goes against best practices for design principles. You actually see a lot of articles online that say that you shouldn't even use drawers or more menus or anything. All your functionality should fit on the bottom tab bar, and that's it. Now in real scenarios, that's not going to happen. You're just going to have a bunch of features and you need to do all kinds of stuff, right? But the problem with drawers is that the idea is that if it's in a drawer, a user may never know about that feature because it's in the drawer, and essentially it's functionality that's hidden away from the user, so you don't want that. Cool. I didn't know that. I'm pretty new on the channel, but I'll check it out. Thanks, Kilo. Thanks for checking it out, Lord Stained. Appreciate that. And Caleb says, your app did a lot more than the ones I made. Really liking the channel. Where are you going with it? So my plan is, so the goal isn't the channel, right? YouTube. So for vanity reasons, I would like to have 100,000 subscribers. Vanity reasons. It has nothing to do with anything. Vanity reasons. It would just make me feel good to get like one of those like little silver play buttons or whatever it is. That's vanity, right? Um, Hardcore reason behind the YouTube channel is to make friends, have a community of people that actually wants to talk to me, and I could talk to them back, and we could talk about cool stuff in code because I like talking about that stuff, and my wife obviously doesn't talk about that stuff, so I need to get that desire or need taken care of. Where am I going with the channel in regards to content? Let's see. So content wise, I want to be working on live streams. It would be nice if I could do a live stream a couple of times a week. So I'm thinking about like 3 times a week. I would like to have you guys have content every single day, excluding the live stream. So you would have 7 videos uploaded a week, one every day. They would be different topics. There would be 3 live streams. So on a couple of days, you'd get too much kilo logo, right? But I want to be covering topics like the ones that I've been covering lately, where it's like general tips and advice for developers. So I want to have that as part of my content. I would like to do cool stuff where I go out and collaborate with some of your guys' favorite content creators. I've reached out to some, and sometimes I get rejected. So like that's why you guys don't see very many collaborations on this channel, but it is what it is. That's another reason why I would like to be bigger, is because then when you're bigger, it's like it's easier for more people to want to collaborate with you. But eventually I want to get to the point to where I could go traveling and meet up with other content creators in the Swift community, um, other people that are important to our community, um, and make that some entertaining content, and trying to just kind of get like Caleb, for example, a swiftly tilting planet, right? So I'd come out to you. I'd go out. I think you said you're in Boise, Idaho. So I would fly out or drive out. No, fly, definitely fly. I'd fly out to Boise, Idaho, and I'd go hang out with you, and then we would do like an interview, and then yeah, to post it. And that would be something that I could do like once a month. Like I'd go fly and go see somebody cool that's a creator in the community that gives that helps our community grow and be more knowledgeable. And that would be awesome if I could do that. Another thing that I want to do with the channel is I would like to try to figure something out with big companies, and actually go in and take their interviews. Like, even though, like, when they're interviewing, I would like to go in and interview with them and see if they would hire me or not, and have it like, obviously I'm not actually applying, but it would be cool if I could get them to um say yes, like come in and we'll give you an interview, and we'll let you know would we hire you or not. Like, I think that would be pretty cool, right? Like, to see how I would do, to see what kind of questions are being asked. Like, I wouldn't be able to do that with like something like Google or YouTube, maybe, right? They're too big, they don't care about me. But I might be able to do it on something that's not extremely huge, but that is big. So like maybe Uber, maybe Tinder, um maybe Lyft, some of these like medium big companies, right? Like, because like Uber's a big company, but it's like nothing compared to Google, right? So that's what I'm talking about. Like, maybe not super massive companies would be willing to do this, but maybe a medium or large company would be willing to do something like that, because it would give them advertisement. If I see, once again, I need a lot more followers, it would give them advertisement, and then it would also If they're in the hiring process, then it would also give them an influx of people that would want to, be interviewed by them. So I don't know how big of a problem that is for those types of companies, but I don't think it could hurt. So that's another thing. There's a couple of other things that I wanted to do. I really want to get into like some type of permanent collab. Like I would like to have like a permanent collaboration situation with somebody. But I want that to be in a situation to where I can go to that area, and you know, every month I would go out to meet up with that person. We would record videos and we would just give general information on a separate video. But yeah, and then now with the release of Shush with volume controller, it's just like now I'm thinking, well, maybe I could just put out, because we've all been in this situation to where we have like all these millions of ideas and we're like, oh, I could build this, I could build that, I could build this, especially when we're starting out, right? And you have all these ideas that you're, oh, I'm gonna build this, I'm gonna build that, but you never build them because it's just a lot of work. And I'm thinking, like, what if I just did what I just did yesterday and I do the MVP and I put that out on the App Store and I just see like what hits. Like I just constantly put out apps, right? And then I just see what hits, what sticks, what do people want? Like what how many downloads am I getting? And if I get enough downloads, then I'll just be like, okay, I'm going to take care of that app. Because then it's like I'm putting these apps out in the App Store and I can see like, oh, well, I could play with stuff, right? I would be like, okay, what happens if I change the description like this? What happens if I change the tags or the keywords like this? What happens when I put the naming convention like this? The video or the pictures, the videos, all that stuff. And I could collect all that information and relay it out to you guys. And then you guys could have the information too. The problem is that I just need to be able to support myself. So YouTube isn't the only thing that I'm trying to work towards. I'm trying to be self-sufficient online. And it's a long road, but I feel like I might be able to get to that stage by August if I keep doing what I've been doing for the past 11, 12 days. So I hope that answered your question. Um, yeah. All right. How cool I am, but I would love to hang out with you more with more iOS steps. Yeah. So, Caleb, yeah, I think you're cool. I mean, it's just like anybody that is contributing to the community, I think is pretty cool because it's a lot of work as you're probably like, I think you're relatively new. I might be wrong. I mean, as you saw, I had to subscribe yesterday. I thought I subscribed the day that I shouted you out on Instagram, but apparently not. Um, but I haven't watched a lot of your content. I really don't watch a whole lot of content creators. One, I've been super busy, and then two, I probably know what they're going to talk about. I already know the topic of whatever they're going over. So, excuse me on that. But yeah, I would love to hang out and do a video with you. That would be awesome. What's going on, Donat or Donit? Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but you're always in here, man. I'm gonna call you DH. DH is always checking out my content. Big shout out to them. Um, Job Mall. Hey, maybe a series with cool Cocoa Pods to use in your app. Super handy stuff with localize in-app purchase pop-ups. So, Job Mall. The reason why you don't get this content from me is because I actually don't use. I try not to use any third-party dependencies in any of my apps. I try really hard. I actually don't even like downloading the Facebook SDK, but it's mandatory. Or not Facebook SDK, Firebase SDK. I don't like getting those in my project. Um, I actually try to write everything myself. It's a great learning experience. I could put in only the stuff that I need, so I don't have extra. I don't have extra crap in my project. Even networking, like I know I know that the community just relied, like, as soon as they start a new project, they'll freaking Cocoa Pod Alamo Fire into their project, and you have no idea what Alamo Fire can do. It is so powerful. It is so powerful. Like, I've looked under the hood of Alamo Fire, and it does all kinds of shit. It's crazy how much stuff it does. But you don't need that. What you're trying to do is you're trying to hit a free API and do a GET request, and nobody needs Alamo Fire for what they're doing most of the time. It's just that they're too lazy to write out the URL session code. And the only time that I really ever use Alamo Fire is if I want to upload images, and even then, depending on what my timeline is like, if I'm not on a pressured timeline, I'll just write the code myself because I know how to do it. I even went over a long video on how to do it. But and the only reason why I do that in Alamo Fire is because the code that you have to write in order to upload an image through a multi-part form request is absolutely ridiculous. It's so incredibly unswifty that it makes me sick. But that's the only time that I really ever need to use Alamo Fire. But and it's not even a need; it's a convenience. So I use frameworks sparingly. Um, but that doesn't mean that I won't go out there and learn something for you guys. Like I said earlier, it's like I do enjoy learning these things, but you're most likely to see me cover the topic on how to do it yourself before you see me do it in do it with a framework. And then maybe I'll cover the framework later. But absolutely, I'll definitely consider doing that stuff. My stuff is pretty basic, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Everybody, I mean, some people will just like, some people will, Caleb, some people will go to your content over my content just because they think that I talk like an idiot, or they really just prefer the way, like, your personality just resonates with them, or something like that. Like, that's why there's no competition on YouTube, is because everybody's different. And you know, if somebody likes you, then they're going to follow you. If not, then they're not going to follow you. And I actually don't want everybody to follow me, because everybody, like the majority of everybody, is just not going to like what I have to say or the way that I act. And that's fine. I want the people that are cool with me being me. I don't want to have to act like a uptight asshole just because you don't like the way that I teach something. Like, I want to have fun when I teach. What will your topic be in Bath? In Bath. I think that's how you say it. Glenn, I don't think I'm supposed to announce what I'm supposed to be talking about yet. When I mentioned it to Paul, he kind of said that I should wait until after WWDC to choose my topic. I think that the topic that I presented to him didn't really align with what he was hoping that I would want to go over. But I'm going to have another conversation with him after WWDC, and then I'll figure out when I'm going to be able to announce that. But regardless of whatever it is, I'm going to make it fun and cool for you guys. Hey, bro, I'm from India, and I love your videos. Love from India. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Love from America to India. Right back at you. Caleb said 100% agree. Kilo, I might need your help in the near future. Hopefully, I'll keep you busy. I like your personality and your thinking. I can share the website of the project I'm working on in here, or can email it to you in private. Yeah, you could email it to me. I don't know if I'll be able to take it, but that's where we'll be able to talk about it, and we could see if that's going to work for us. But it's Kyle at kiloloco.com. What do you think about Flutter? So I'm gonna guess that you probably just came in here if you're asking that question because I just went on a whole entire thing of how I'm learning Flutter. Um, so I think Flutter is actually amazing. Flutter is amazing. I think Dart is ugly as hell. It's probably one of the ugliest languages that I've seen. No, well, not one of the ugliest because Objective C is pretty damn ugly, and so is C. But it's not fun to look at. I'll tell you that much. Pyramids of Doom. You guys want to see what a you guys want to see what a Flutter app kind of looks like? So when you don't know what you're doing, because I haven't done all the refactoring and stuff yet because I'm still learning. Let me show you my Flutter app. I'm not going to go over anything in detail or even run it, but I'm just going to show you guys the code. Hold on. I do love Visual Studio though. Visuals. I wish I could write iOS apps in Visual Studio. Honestly, I love it. Um, the other bad thing about Flutter. Let me not cover up everything. The other bad thing about Flutter is that you always have to upgrade. Every single time I open up this project, I have to upgrade the project. Look at this. So one, this is my fault, but look at how many lines there are in this file. And that's because I don't know exactly what I'm doing right now, and I haven't taken the time to refactor. I'm trying to get to that first milestone because the client kind of flopped around on me a little bit, and I'm trying to get paid before I start doing anything more. But this is like these are several like for all you iOS developers. This is like several view controllers in the same file. That's kind of what it's like. And look at what it looks like. This Pyramid of Doom shit, that I hate it. I hate it. Um Look at that. That's freaking ugly. You can minimize this a little bit by refactoring, but not a whole lot. And then another thing that I hate is that hold on, let me show you. Everything is starting with like return. So this is your return. So instead of having like the arrow on the right side of the function, you're returning the type right here. So this is just like most programming languages where the type that you're returning is right here. So I'm supposed to return what's called a widget, and that's kind of like a view. You can think of it kind of like just a UI view. That can be anything, right? So like a UI view controller is no, actually that's not a view. What is a view? So like a UI button is technically a view, right? So anything that is a view can be returned back, right? So I need to return something that's of type widget, and the return statement starts up here at the top because you're writing all your code into these initializers and then just putting them on the next line. And that's what ends up making these pyramids of doom. And that, I hate it. I hate it. Now down here towards the bottom where I'm starting to get a little bit better at refactoring, you can kind of see that it's a little bit less, but it's still like that. This is kind of like recent. This is more recent code, and I'm refactoring it a bit, but it still gets kind of messy. So Flutter, I really enjoy Flutter. It's kind of like the way that I feel about it is it's like it feels like I'm painting. That's like the best way that I could describe it. It feels like I'm painting an app. That's the best way that I could describe it. But the language that it's done with Dart, which I mean nobody was even using Dart, it's just kind of weird, but it is what it is. I'm enjoying the fact that I'm learning something new. And I'm enjoying because whenever I do this, I'm doing it on an Android device just so that I could get more used to the UI or whatever. So it's a step in the right direction of me learning UI, and that's Android, and that's kind of the path that I want to take. Because I did learn a little bit of Android development, but what I really want to do is I want to learn cross-platform development, because then I feel like it's way easier to go from cross-platform development into Android as opposed to going into Android and then cross-platform development, because some of the concepts that are specific to Android I'll learn while doing cross-platform development, even though I can relate more concepts to iOS development since it's obviously working with iOS. So that's why I'm thinking about, or that's why I'm doing Flutter before I learn Kotlin all the way. What are you most excited about for WWDC 19? Marzipan. Marzipan. I want to see to what extent they are going to give us the ability to create Mac apps, because one of the courses that I was going to create for my membership site was going to be creating Mac apps. I was going to go through the process of learning like all the basics, and I already know some of the basics. I could actually do a couple of things. I could create a Mac OS app, and I was actually creating a few already, but I wanted to go through and learn Mac OS development like on a really good level and then create a course on that. But now I'm thinking, all right, let me just wait until Marzipan drops and let me see how everything fits together. I want to see where Marzipan is at, and then you'll probably get a course on Marzipan. Don't worry. And then I'll go from there and figure out what I want to do in regards to a macOS development, macOS course. More likely than not, I'm still gonna do a hardcore macOS course, just because Marzipan most definitely will not be able to do everything that a regular macOS app can do. All right, yeah, and throwing up at Flutter, yeah, just disgusting code. Yeah, so it's partially my fault, but it's also the language's fault. So I think that's gonna be it, guys. I have a headache, and it's time to go inside and watch Game of Thrones. So I'm gonna be heading out. Thanks again for all of you guys that showed up. Once again, let me know your thoughts on some of the stuff that I said. So in regards to like the YouTube content, like and going in this different direction. So for those of you that might not have heard it, I want to start releasing more apps the way that I did yesterday. I would like to start doing live streams on actual app development, putting more apps out there as a form of a revenue stream. I also want to keep kind of the talking head videos where I'm giving you guys tips and advice as developers, and kind of moving my YouTube channel towards that. And then all the other content in regards to tutorials, I'm thinking maybe move it to my membership site, or maybe keep it free but on kiloloco.com. I'll have to look into that. So let me know what you guys think about that. If there's any, and also if you're not currently signed up for the Kilo Loco membership, let me know why you're not signed up, and how I could provide you value to help you sign up. Like, what would I have to do in order to give you enough value to sign up? Because right now you're getting all the courses, and you're getting a Slack invite for where you can always DM me and ask questions about code. So I feel like that's a pretty good value, especially for $8 a month. But if you're not signed up, let me know why not, and let me know if there's something that I can do to help change that. Email sent, man. Hope we get to chat soon. All right. Well, I mean, I'll reach back out to you, Ermal, regardless of the decision. But yeah, you'll be hearing from me. After Swift, I want to start Android, but I'm considering Flutter or Kotlin. So please let me know, what should I start. It's all up to you. Like I just said, my plan is to do Flutter before I do Kotlin. All right. Thanks. Have a good night. I'm liking the live stream ideas and putting out more apps. Thanks, Caleb. Appreciate that, man. Plan on trying out a membership soon. All right, thanks, Glenn. I really appreciate that. If you decide not to, I mean, I know what it's like, man. I'm broke, guys. I'm actually broke. So I understand when it's like you just don't have extra $8 a month. I try to keep it super low so that everybody could afford it, but I know what it's like to just not have an extra $8 a month. But if there's something else, if there's another reason why you're not joining, then let me know, because I'll definitely try to change that. I want to provide you guys more value, but I also kind of need a little bit of support to keep doing that. All right, so that's going to be all for today, guys. Thanks again for stopping by. Really appreciate your time. I'll probably be releasing a video or two tomorrow. It's going to be one of those talking head videos, and then maybe a tutorial. And then, yeah, just be on the lookout for any more live streams, and I will let you guys know what my decision is in regards to actually releasing more apps. And if you didn't get the app, if you didn't get the Shush volume controller app, go and send $2 to me by downloading the most incredibly basic app you've ever laid your eyes on. All right, guys. Thanks again. Go out there and keep coding passionately. Whew. Game of Thrones time.